Before we even start this conversation, I need you to understand something. What I'm about to tell you is so absolutely insane, so completely out of pocket, that you're going to think I'm making this up. But I'm not. And if you think you know drama, if you think you've seen chaos in the wrestling world before, you haven't seen anything yet. Jimmy USO. Naomi. A marriage we all thought was solid. A relationship that seemed unbreakable. Done. Finished. Destroyed. And the reason why is something nobody saw coming. I'm talking about a scandal so massive that it makes every other wrestling controversy look like child's play. And listen, if this doesn't make your blood boil, if this doesn't make you want to scream at your screen right now, then you need to check your pulse because this is absolutely bonkers. Hit that subscribe button right now because you need to hear every single detail of this absolute train wreck. Smash that like button if you're already furious just hearing this. Because trust me, it gets so much worse. Let's talk about what we thought we knew. Jimmy USO and Naomi, right? They were supposed to be the power couple. The Usos running the tag team division with an iron fist, Naomi being one of the most talented women in WWE history, and together they were untouchable. They were the definition of relationship goals in the wrestling world. We saw them support each other through everything. Through title reigns, through injuries, through family drama with the bloodline. Through everything. But apparently, while we were all watching Jimmy pledge his loyalty to Roman Reigns, while we were watching Naomi glow her way through matches, something else was happening behind the scenes. Something nobody could have predicted. Something that just shattered everything we thought we knew about this couple. Reports are now surfacing that Jimmy USO has filed for divorce. Okay, that alone would be shocking enough. That alone would have the wrestling world talking for weeks. But that's not even the story here. That's not what makes this absolutely explosive. The reason why he filed for divorce is what's sending shockwaves through the entire industry. Naomi is pregnant. And according to multiple sources, Jimmy found out that he is not the father. Let that sink in for a second. Let that marinate. We're not talking about growing apart. We're not talking about careers pulling them in different directions. We're talking about the kind of betrayal that breaks a person. The kind of situation that you wouldn't even put in a wrestling storyline because it would be too dramatic, too unbelievable. But this is real life. And if you're sitting there thinking this can't be true, if you're thinking there's no way this is real, I need you to understand that multiple sources close to the situation have confirmed this. This isn't internet gossip. This isn't some random person making stuff up for clicks. This is coming from people who actually know what's happening behind closed doors. Now let's talk about the timeline here because this makes everything even more insane. Think about everything we've seen play out over the past several months. Think about Jimmy's intensity in the ring, his emotional performances with G, his dedication to the bloodline story. The man has been putting his soul into his work. And now we know why. Now we understand what he was dealing with behind the scenes. Can you imagine finding out something like this while you're in the middle of one of the biggest storylines of your career? While you're traveling 300 days a year? While you're trying to maintain your position at the top of the industry? The strength it must have taken to continue performing at that level while your entire world is falling apart is honestly beyond comprehension. And Naomi. Let's talk about Naomi because the internet is already going absolutely crazy with this. The woman who's been presenting herself as a devoted wife, who's been posting couple photos, who's been talking about their relationship in interviews, was apparently living a completely different reality. The disrespect. The audacity. To not only step out on your marriage but to get pregnant by someone else and then have your husband find out like this? The wrestling community is divided right now. Some people are saying we need to wait for more information. Some people are defending Naomi saying we don't know the full story. But come on. What full story do we need? What additional context makes this situation okay? I'll wait. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I want to know how anyone can justify this level of betrayal. And here's what's really eating at me. Here's what makes this even more infuriating. These are people we trusted. These are people we believed in. We supported their careers, bought their merchandise, cheered for them, defended them online. And the whole time, this was happening behind the scenes. It makes you question everything. It makes you wonder what else we don't know about the people we look up to in this industry. Think about all the times Jimmy defended his family. Think about all the times he stood up for the USO name, for the Anoa'i legacy. Think about how much pride he has in his family and his heritage. And then think about how this completely undermines all of that. How this kind of betrayal from someone who's supposed to be your partner, your wife, cuts deeper than anything that could happen in a wrestling ring. The bloodline storyline just got a whole lot more complicated too, didn't it? Because now we're looking at Jimmy's real-life drama playing out while he's supposed to be focusing on one of the most important angles in WWE history. How is he supposed to go out there and perform with with Roman, with Solo, knowing that his personal life is completely imploding? How is he supposed to maintain that intensity, that passion, when he's dealing with this? And let's be real about something else. The wrestling industry is brutal when it comes to personal drama becoming public. This is going to follow both of them for the rest of their careers. Every time Naomi walks out to that ring, people are going to be talking about this. Every time Jimmy cuts a promo, this is going to be in the back of people's minds. This isn't something that just goes away after a few news cycles. This is career-defining drama. I want you to think about the courage it takes to file for divorce in this situation. Jimmy could have tried to work it out. He could have tried to save face publicly. He could have handled this quietly behind the scenes. But instead, he made the decision to end it. To walk away from a marriage that everyone thought was solid. And honestly, I respect that. I respect someone who knows their worth enough to say this is not acceptable and walk away, even when it's going to cause this level of chaos. But who's the other man? That's what everyone wants to know right now. That's the question that's driving the internet absolutely insane. Is it someone in the wrestling industry? Is it someone from outside wrestling? Is it someone we all know? The speculation is already running wild, and honestly, when that information comes out, this story is going to explode all over again. Some sources are saying it might be someone from WWE. Can you imagine if it's another wrestler? If it's someone Jimmy works with? Someone he's been traveling with? Someone who looked him in the eye and shook his hand while secretly destroying his marriage? The level of disrespect would be astronomical. That would be the kind of thing that could lead to real, legitimate issues backstage. That would be the kind of situation that WWE would have to actively manage to prevent things from getting physical. And let's talk about what this means for both of their careers moving forward. Jimmy is going to have massive support from the fans. People are going to rally behind him because he's the victim here. He's the one who got betrayed, who got disrespected, who's dealing with the fallout of someone else's actions. His stock is probably going to go up because people love a comeback story, people love supporting someone who's been wronged. But Naomi? Her career might never recover from this. The wrestling business can forgive a lot of things, but this level of public betrayal? The fans don't forget. The internet doesn't forget. Every single appearance she makes is going to be met with chants, with signs, with people bringing this up constantly. Her social media is already getting destroyed right now. The comments are absolutely ruthless. And you know what? Maybe that's deserved. Maybe when you make choices that hurt people this badly, when you betray someone's trust this completely, there should be consequences. Maybe the court of public opinion should weigh in on this because what she allegedly did is inexcusable. Now, WWE hasn't made any official statements yet, and they probably won't for a while. They're going to let this play out, see how the dust settles, and then make decisions about how to handle both Jimmy and Naomi going forward. But you know those conversations are happening right now. You know Vince, Triple H, and everyone in management is discussing how this impacts their programming, their storylines, their marketing. Do they keep Naomi around? Do they give her time off? Do they future endeavor her quietly? Because keeping her on television right now seems almost impossible given the fan reaction. And do they address this with Jimmy? Do they give him time to heal? Do they incorporate elements of this into his character work? These are massive decisions that are going to shape the next several months of WWE programming. The personal devastation Jimmy must be feeling right now is something I can't even fully comprehend. Finding out your wife is pregnant by another man isn't just betrayal. It's not just infidelity. It's a complete destruction of everything you thought your life was. It's questioning every moment, every conversation, every time she said she loved you. It's wondering when it started, how long it went on, how many lies you were told. It's traumatic. And he has to deal with all of this while still being expected to perform at the highest level. While still being expected to travel, to work matches, to cut promos, to maintain his position in the company. The mental and emotional strength that requires is honestly heroic. Most people would completely fall apart. Most people would need to step away completely. But Jimmy? He's still out there. Still working. Still being professional. That deserves respect. This situation also raises bigger questions about relationships in the wrestling industry. The lifestyle is brutal on marriages. You're traveling constantly, you're away from home more than you're there, you're surrounded by attractive people in incredible shape, the temptation is everywhere. It takes an incredibly strong relationship to survive in this business long term. And clearly, Jimmy and Naomi's relationship wasn't as strong as we all thought. But that doesn't excuse what happened. Being on the road doesn't give you permission to cheat. Being away from your spouse doesn't justify betrayal. There are plenty of wrestlers who maintain faithful, committed relationships despite the challenges of the industry. This isn't a wrestling business problem. This is a character problem. The comments on this video are going to be insane, and I want to hear from all of you. Team Jimmy or Team Naomi? Do you think there's more to this story? Do you think WWE should release Naomi? Should Jimmy take time off? Who do you think the other man is? Sound off in the comments right now, because this conversation is just getting started. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? This is the biggest wrestling scandal of the year, and you're going to want to be here for every single update, every new piece of information, every development in this absolute disaster of a situation. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, turn on notifications, because this story is far from over. The fallout from this is going to be massive. We're talking about one of wrestling's most prominent couples completely imploding in the most dramatic way possible. We're talking about careers being altered, reputations being destroyed, and a level of personal pain that most people will never experience. This is going to be remembered as one of the most shocking moments in wrestling history, not because of what happened in the ring, but because of what happened outside of it. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, and get ready, because this story is just beginning.